those things it gets pretty special when you get that opportunity, because everybody's there together, and it doesn't seem forced that you're there just because it's Thanksgiving and but you're there because everybody's in the same situation, and everybody's having that brotherhood and camaraderie. So that one stood out for sure.
So that one in South Korea.
Yeah.
Wow. And Sam, I know you've been overseas quite a bit in your service in the U.S. Army. Was there a Thanksgiving that stood out when you were out serving?
Well, yeah, I mean, there were many Thanksgivings that stood out, and there were ones where, of course, my command sergeant major and I went and we got in the serving line and we served, the soldiers and the civilians who were there, and both Iraq and Afghanistan. But I know when I was a battalion commander during Operation New Dawn, that was a particularly interesting Thanksgiving because we were conducting retrograde operations out of Iraq, throughout the country. Our battalion was, and but we were based at Camp Adder at the time, after jumping to talk about 5 times as we moved south. But everything was closing because we were moving out of Iraq, and so our DFAC closed on the Sunday prior to Thanksgiving, and they served a big old Thanksgiving dinner. And then because they were closed on Thanksgiving Day, our Thanksgiving dinner was MREs. But I think probably the one in uniform moment of Thanksgiving that sticks out to be the most, and I was talking to someone about this the other day. I went to Liberia for 6 months as part of a UN mission, and was part of an international team running a disarmament camp in a place called Zwedru City. And Liberians have a special kinship with Americans. I don't know if people of the United States really understand how closely aligned Liberians really feel to the United States, and how much they love the United States of America. So they have this special kinship. And so we had several Liberian interpreters that worked for us in the disarmament camp, because many of the combatives who were coming in to turn in their weapons and stuff, they spoke tribal languages or they spoke French, and they didn't speak English, so we needed the interpreters to help us out. And all of these interpreters were great. I had such a great kinship with all of them. They were such really great young men, and they all invited me to come to their houses for Thanksgiving. So now I was already going to go to a big Thanksgiving that we had planned for the Americans that were at Zwedru City. But I planned my day accordingly, and I went out to every single one of their houses, which I'm telling you, they were nothing more than mud huts with palm frond roofs, and broke bread with them and their families. And it was really just a special moment that they took the time to prepare food that they didn't have much of, and then shared it with me, and were so happy to have me in their homes. And really, I couldn't express to them how much happier I was to be invited into their homes and to be able to do that with them. And it really did bring home what Thanksgiving is all about. I mean, it was a great, great Thanksgiving, and I always remember that every year.
That's a wonderful story, Sam, and we appreciate how much you and Steve were both serving our country overseas.